Hello everyone, I'm here with a scrapbook process video about my Sparkle page. This is made using the February Clique Kits, and I'm showing you here the papers I'm using. Bright from the Maggie Holmes Shine collection, Cherish, and Carefree. So I'd already decided to cut 2 concentric circles with my silhouette, and that's the photo I'll be using. So that kind of inspired the color scheme. I wanted to go with the pink, black and white, and then a tiny bit of the yellow citron. So you can see my basic layout, and here I'm backing my photo with some tissue paper, and I have cardstock between the photo and the tissue paper. So I'm just going to put 2 layers of the tissue, and that's my acid-free adhesive I'm using. And then I'm trying out different titles and trying to see where I'm going to go from here. So I had the idea, that's an exclusive flare button from the Clique Kits. I love that they include these exclusive, the labels there that I just picked up, those cut aparts, those are exclusive to the kit. And I love that they include those and they coordinate with whatever the paper and designs are in the kit. And this is where I decided that I wanted to add 3 different areas of India ink. And I haven't glued those papers down in the circle because I wanted to decide where I wanted it first. Here I'm just trimming because you could see a little bit of the pink paper outside of the circle, so I just trimmed it a little bit. Sorry, my phone notifications are still on. Let me turn that off. Okay. I just had the idea that I wanted the 3 pie shapes inside the circle, I wanted them to kind of angle towards the photo. That's why that black and white striped triangle that I'm moving right now is kind of aimed up in the diagonal, and that's just so that it leads your eye to the photo. And then the center point is going to be, the center point where all those pieces meet is going to be right behind the photo so that it kind of leads your eye right to the photo. I want that to be the focal point. And here I'm making 3 pencil marks on the outside of this circle so that I know where to concentrate my India ink splashes that I'm going to do here in a minute. At first I thought I would add some Heidi Swapp Color Shine in blush and coral, and then I realized I wanted to keep it mostly neutral so that the die cuts and ephemera pack from the Maggie Holmes Shine is going to show up. So then I changed my mind to use this calligraphy ink here, India ink. And I'm just gonna, this is an old dog food container. I just keep all the dog food containers as my watercolor basins. And I'm just gonna put some of the India ink in there with a round brush. And then I'll just squirt, I have a bottle of water that I keep over in my mixed media section of the craft room. And so I'm gonna squirt some water in there. See? And then I just, and you can even reconstitute what's in the bottom. I just keep this one for my black India ink splatters. And I'm just tapping the paintbrush, as you can see, in those 3 areas where I made the pencil marks, because that's, I wanted the India ink to go behind the die cuts and ephemera from the Maggie Holmes Shine collection, so that's why I'm just concentrating them in the 3 areas there. You can see I'm kind of making a faux splat. I wanted some bigger areas and I didn't want it to go where I didn't want it, so that's why I was doing it like that. And of course I did get some India ink on my hands, you're going to see in the video later. I was trying to wipe, there it's on my thumb. I was trying to wipe it off and not get it on the layout. I don't think I actually got it on the layout. Thank goodness it dries quick. So here I'm going to go back while that, I set that aside to dry and moved it away so I wouldn't smear it. And then I'm going to go back to the pieces that go inside the circle here. And I left them larger than the sections so that I could attach them with glue or adhesive. And then I have an idea that I'm going to punch with my needle and hand stitch with some pink blush embroidery floss. So here I'm just punching about quarter, a little bit farther than 1/4 of an inch. Just so my stitches won't be too close together. And I tried to keep them, since this is a straight line, I tried to keep them pretty even. I'm just going to use the needle that I'm going to sew with the embroidery thread and punch really quick on my push pad here. And I cut out the sewing. The hand stitching took a little bit, so I didn't show that on camera. But I wanted to show you how I didn't measure or anything. You can't really tell when you're hand stitching if you don't measure it exactly, but from doing design and things, it ends up about 1/4 of an inch. And here I'm just knotting the back and covering it with some washi tape. That's some Scotch masking tape in a color. And you can see how that turned out there. And then I had run this, once the India ink had dried enough, I ran it through my Mink machine to flatten it to make sure it was completely flat. And I turned my Mink machine on to setting 4 so that it's hot enough to completely flatten the paper. So here you can see where I'm going to be building the rest of the layout. And I wanted the splatters to be behind the photo. And then I found this sparkle from Jen Hadfield, the Glittered Words die cut pack. It was an add-on item from the Clique Kits shop. So I love that it's a big huge title and really draws your attention there. And then all I'm going to do here is set out all the ephemera from the Maggie Holmes Shine ephemera pack. And I'm going to try out some different bits here and there. See if I like them. I don't know why I even tried the word under the other word, but oh well. I like the colors, so. Here you're going to see me just try different tags, move them around, different little ephemera pieces. I wanted some different shapes, some florals, and then some geometrics as well. So I'm going to try to get a big variety of the shapes here in each section where those India ink splatters are. I'm cutting this die cut in half because there wasn't another one to match and I wanted it on either side of the circle. So I just cut it the part you wouldn't see because it was tucked under. I just cut it in half and that way I can use it on the other half of the circle and you won't know that I didn't have another one. And here what I wanted to do was kind of fluff it up. So I added some of the fun foam to the back so that it wouldn't just be flat on the page. I wanted it to stand up a little bit. Label strips from the cut apart sheet and I wanted the pink. There's 2 pink ones and I'm going to cut the end into a little banner shape there and add it behind the die cut just to give some different shapes. Add some visual interest to that area. And I'm not going to adhere the whole banner. I'm going to leave the end no adhesive on the end so that I can pull it up a little bit and it sticks up off the page. And here I'm cutting the other pink one. It says Today Rocks. And I'm just going to make another little banner out of that one and put it on the other side of the layout on the left side. So I'll move it around here and try to decide where it looks good. And then I'm getting out the chipboard sheet. This is the full chipboard sheet that coordinates with the kit. And I like that little 24/7 arrow label. I'll add that on top of the citron heart here. I love that the ephemera pack contains lots of a variety, like that clear love acetate word there, so that you can layer the different kinds. And here I'm going to put the chipboard heart over on the right side. I wanted to add some of the darker pink there. Eventually I'm going to stick it down. I'm just leaving my T-square ruler there so that I can make sure to keep all the horizontal little labels and bits and any of the words that I'm adding on. I'm going to try this little citron colored ticket, but I think it's too much of the citron color. Even though I love that color, it's just too much with the flower there. So then I'll go to this Swiss cross, the plus sign here on the chipboard sheet. And I run out of battery before I get the layout done, but I'll show you in the finished photos how it ends up. And all I really need to add that I didn't get on camera was the rest of the die cuts, and then I cut one of the tags in half in a triangle shape, and I add that to the top left and the bottom right of the layout. And then I take that zebra patterned sheer organza ribbon and I gather it on my sewing machine and attach it at the very bottom. You can see a tiny bit of that sheer zebra ribbon down towards the bottom left under my hand near the T-square ruler. Yeah, right there. And then I realized when I ran this through my Xyron to adhere that, I like that the adhesive goes all the way across and you can't see any of the adhesive. You could always attach this with staples as well. But then when I ran it through the Xyron machine, I realized there was a little clear cover over it, and that came off, so that was good. And here you can see I'm just showing you a close-up of how all the die cuts ended up looking. And then I'll show you the final layout. And I added some pink embroidery floss to tie in with the hand stitching. And here's the finished layout. I added a butterfly at the very top left. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye!